Hello, friends. Welcome back to another video with me. My name is Cotton Candy Doll. If you're new here, welcome. Welcome all. Hi. This is a shifting video. I'm going to jump right into it. You might hear noises, just so you know. Ignore them. I shifted to Toshinori's house. And so as soon as I walked in the door, he like wrapped his arms around me. And it was one of those I missed you hugs. And then uh, he kissed me passionately. And he whispered in my ear, "You mean the world to me." And it made me feel so warm inside and so loving. My man saying that to me, I can't believe it. It's like, I know that I meant something to him, but hearing it from his mouth, hearing like, "I love you," and over again, but then "I love you" turns into, with him, because I figured out Toshinori is yandere. It took me a long time to figure it out. I don't know why it took me so long. "I love you" turn into "you'll always be mine no matter what." uh, like just a possessive thing. And I'm like, he must really miss me and he must want to get me in bed. And so like I like guide him toward the inside because I said I didn't actually get in his house yet. We were out in the doorway doing this. And I pull him inside by his tie and I'm like, and I have like a little giggle behind me. And then he puts his hand on mine and he goes, "Stop." He goes, "We can't today." And I'm like, is the baby here? The baby, guys, the baby. Oh, I was so excited to meet Frodo. You know how I feel now, guys? I am so exhausted now that I've now that I've met Frodo. I'm so exhausted. Oh my gosh, this baby, guys. This baby. No spoilers. Anyway, Toshinori is like, "Let's hurry up and eat our breakfast. I'm gonna take you to Hawks." And so I look at him, I'm like, why can't Frodo come here? And he's like, "I'm not gonna have time to drive him all the way back over there later. I'm getting out of work pretty late today, so, you know, just go in, you can say hi to go in and, just go greet the baby. Just go greet and meet the baby. Go get to know your son, your baby." I said, "Our baby." He's like, "Ours?" I said, "His last name is Yagi. I named him after you." And he's like, I said, "By the way, because I've been wondering this, guys, why Toshinori didn't become, why isn't the baby half, why isn't the baby half, like the baby's half Hawks. So it's me and Hawk's baby. It's our baby." But I was wondering why Toshinori didn't like volunteer or do whatever he had to do to get this baby, which no one's explained to me yet how he got here. He wasn't supposed to be here for another week, but I was really happy they rescued him. So, I really wanted to ask that. So I go, "Toshinori, is there a way you could have been, um, is there a way that the baby could have had your DNA?" And he looks at me and he says, "I knew what was at risk, but I didn't want to put myself in this position where I would get hurt." He goes, "Even though I know there's probably a chance I could heal from it, why would I cause something so disastrous? Hawks is just reckless." And I go, "Okay, I understand what he's talking about." However they rescued Frodo, it was obviously very dangerous, and Toshinori didn't want to put him and other people in danger. Just doesn't care. He didn't care. He did it. Luckily, it worked. Luckily, no one got affected. Luckily, whatever the risk was then, I don't really know, but I'm guessing it was probably death. And Toshinori didn't want to like kill himself off, and then the baby's here because I don't feel like I would resent the baby or anything like that. Anyway, enough about that. Yeah, I know. I just like started rambling on. Oh, I'm so exhausted, guy. I could just go to sleep right now. Good night, everybody. No, I'm not gonna do that. Uh, Oh, I forgot what he was like. But you know what? Obviously Frodo was not like a normal baby, so I did not know what I was walking into. I did not know. Fox is I have a whole new respect for him. Like even after what he did, I have a whole new respect. I'm so serious, guys. Okay, so we finish our drink. I finish, drinking my coffee and stuff. We get and I look out the window and I notice there's a limo out there. There's a black limo, and it's obviously it's Toshinori's. And I guess it must have came after I arrived because I don't remember seeing a limo before I came in. But now there was clearly a limo. Like you could see it through the window, like looking outside. So he's like, "Let's go." So we get in the limo. Um, he like pulls me next to him, and he's like touching on me and stuff. And I'm touching him, and he's like, "We got to." He's like, "It's gonna be a busy day at the work." And so I didn't know how far Hawks actually lived. I thought because Toshinori's house is down the street, maybe Hawks is somewhere in the area because they're like best friends or something. So I figured, it would be 2 seconds to get to his house and get there. So it took like an hour to get to Hawks's house, a whole freaking hour. Like I'm sitting there and I'm like, and Toshinori's like rubbing my back and like you can tell he wants to make a move on me so bad. But since we're like in the actual limo in the back, we probably could have, but like, I mean, how are we gonna clean ourselves up after? Seriously. I don't know that he would go to the school. He'd probably end up skipping. I wouldn't get to meet Frodo, and that would make my day not so great. So I kind of stopped him, but he had a lot of self restraint too. Like he wasn't doing too many bad things. So we arrive at Hawks's house. Hawks lives in a freaking mansion, guys. It has like gates that open, like white gates. There's like a centerpiece fountain. It's surrounded by these red flowers, and I don't know what kind of flowers. They're not roses, okay? Are they like pansies or something? I don't know. Really nice. Um, so on your way up the stairs to his front door, there's like red carpet. Okay. So we get to the door. I just don't want to. Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna explain what his whole area. Okay. All right. So you got hedges over here. Okay, hedges on the side. Stairs going up. House is like a tannish color. There's like these black. I don't know what they're called. They're next to the windows, and I don't know what they're for. I guess it's like window panes or something. There's plants in the windows. You can't see past a certain point, but on another side of his house, you can clearly see there's glass. So he has a whole wall that's glass. So you can see like outside. So then we walk into his house. He opens the door. We walk in and he runs away from the door really fast. Until Shinari comes in and he's like, "She's here to see Frodo now. I'm gonna go because I have to go back to the school." So Toshinori turns and starts walking back to the limo. And I'm like, "Wow, this is a nice place." And Hawks runs up and he has the baby bag in his hand. He has the baby seat. And he sits it down and he's like, "I was getting ready to go to the school. I forgot I had an important meeting I had to get to today. Could you please just watch the baby for a little while? I'll be back in like 3 hours, four max. Here's his stuff." He gives me so he has this baby bag in his hand and it's like a tealish color, but it's white. It's mostly green. It's like a really light green, okay, and like a white. And there's little teddy bears and rabbits and things on it. It's super cute, okay? It's so cute. So he has this bag. He like shoves it in my hand, and he goes, "There's a clipboard in there on the counter, on the kitchen counter. It has everything he needs in there." He gets ready to run out. He comes back. He goes, "Oh, also, our child is spoiled. He wants hot meals, so make sure that you put his bottle in the microwave for 1 minute." He goes, his bottle is in the fridge, all of his stuff is there. He gets ready to run away again. He goes, "By the way, I already changed him. He doesn't need to be changed um until later." He goes, "Okay, well, he's sleeping. He's gonna sleep for about 3 hours from now, and he does eat every 2 hours though when he's awake, but he's sleeping, it's fine, leave him sleep." He goes, "Is that all? I think I told you everything right. Okay, I gotta go. Bye." He starts running. Toshinori goes, "Hey, Hawks, what are you doing?" He's like, "I got to go to the school." He goes, "She'll be fine. She's going to watch him for a little bit." And Toshinori looks through the window. So Hawks is getting in the limo, okay? And Toshinori's looking like this on this around, and he like tilts his head. He's like, "Can it be okay?" And I do like I did throw him a thumbs up because, and he goes, "Okay." So he leaves. So they leave. They drive off, and so I go back in the house. So I start walking around his humongous house. Let's see. The kitchen is huge. It has like a marble floor, and the counter is kind of like a bar. There's like stools. It's really cool. He has a dining room table too, and it has like a bowl of fruit on it. And then on the side over there, there's a stainless steel fridge, stainless steel stove, just the whole set together. The cabinets are like this color, like the color of, brown, like a brown wood color. And so like the first thing I do is I look for the clipboard so I can see like, what the baby needs. That way just in case he wakes up by accident and I have to go see him. Um, so like I see the baby monitor and it's way at the edge of the counter. And I noticed, the car seat was still by the door. I'm like, okay, so I guess he was gonna take the baby with him until I arrived. So when I arrived, I just changed this whole. He realized, oh, I don't have to wake up the baby. So I go over to the counter and I see like the clipboard. It's a black clipboard and it has a whole list of stuff. It's like pages, guys. I'm like, holy cow, well, I better get a head start now. I mean, am I gonna be able to read through all of this? I am over exaggerating, a little bit with that, being sarcastic. So the first thing on the list, it says, feeding, his bottles in the fridge, just take it out, nook it for about a minute or whatever, and it'll be hot enough for the baby. It says, don't worry if it feels like it's too hot. It's not too hot for him. If you try and give it to him cold, he will cry. I'm like, okay. Then I go down the list and it says Frodo has to be fed every 2 hours. If he isn't fed within those 2 hour time frames, his eyes are going to turn red and he's going to start eating things that are not food. And I go, okay, well, that's fine. And they said he said, on the bottom it says, P.S. If he's being whiny, his favorite toy is in a bassinet. And I'm like, okay, where's the bassinet? And I'm looking around, I'm like, so I get ready to go up the stairs, and I'm like, let me just take the list with me. I can read it as I'm walking. At the very bottom of it, it says, do not enter into Frodo's room while he is asleep because he will wake up. He can sense when there's other people around. On the next page, it says, only wake him only wake him up if it's been past the 3 hours he was sleeping, or something like that. So, and the next page is just about bathing, all this other stuff. I'm not gonna tell you what the entire list said because it was a huge freaking it was pages, okay? So I'm walking up the stairs and I'm like, I can already know his room right off the bat. Okay. There's a crown on his door. Okay, it says King Frodo, baby King Frodo. I'm like, what the heck? Like this kid is like is gonna be so spoiled. And I want to go in so bad, but I'm like, I need to listen to what he said and not go in the room because I don't want to wake Frodo up. So then I go back downstairs. I'm like wandering around at his house, which is like huge. Um, it reminds me of a museum. I mean, I'm looking at structures, I'm looking at statues, and I'm surprised he doesn't have any housemates or anything like that. So I'm in the kitchen and I go, well, it's only been about 20 minutes and I'm already sitting here like this. I'm staring at the list and I'm like, I get to finally meet Frodo. I'm like super excited, guys. So then like an hour goes by. Um, I really just go in his fridge and I'm taking out like juices and I'm just drinking them and like I wasn't even thirsty or hungry or anything. I was just trying to pass time. Then I went over to his TV and like so his TV is basically like embedded in the wall. And it's a big screen. and it has like 5 remotes. So I'm sitting here trying to figure out which one. And like the freaking wall turns into, so the TV turned around, it changes into a bookshelf. So then I press the button again and it changes back. And I go, okay, well, that's enough of that. What else can I, explore in this house? Since I have all this time. And, by the time I finished fixing everything and putting it back how it goes, I realized it had been like an hour. So an hour went by and I'm like, yay, all I got to do is wait another hour. And then I go, well, Frodo's probably really hungry. Maybe he wants to eat now, you know? And I take out one of his bottles and I pick it up and it's pretty heavy, guys. This bottle is heavy. It's clear and I can clearly see the contents in it are like red. And I'm like, what is in this bottle? It's like grounded, whatever's in there is grounded up really fine. So it's like a liquid. And so like I'm holding the bottle in my hand and I'm like this, and I'm like, probably wants to eat now, right? I mean, he's been asleep for he said like 2 hours or something before he left, I think. I don't even know if that's really true. I just really wanna, guys, don't ever do. I just really wanted to wake up the baby. Like should I wake up the baby? Of course I'm not gonna wake the baby up because I want to meet him or anything. I'm just gonna go have a listen at him to make sure he's breathing. The baby monitor, I pick it up. It's a blue monitor, it's solid blue. It almost looks kind of like a radio. It's weird. And it has a cute little teddy bear button on it. And I'm like, this guy's gonna have this kid obsessed with teddy bears. Like, what's Hawks' issue? So I'm walking up the stairs. I turn up the volume because it's really low. I can hear Frodo breathing, and his breathing sounds exactly like a regenerator. I get really excited as I get closer because I feel like we have that connection already. And I'm like, no. So I go back down the stairs and just like I sit down the baby monitor. I'm like, no, I'll just wait until he wakes up. And I go, you know what? He's probably hungry. So I walk upstairs. I like tiptoe into the room. Okay, guys. So the room was black. All the walls are like black. There is a mobile. I think it's called a mobile. It's like above the crib where he's sleeping, and it's twirling around in circus dragons on there. And then so like his crib is like teddy bears. His tent is like teddy bears. I'm like, what's up with the teddy bears? And the tent is covering him, so I can't see him. So I move closer, just so I can get like a little look at the guy. I can get, I want to see him. I want to see what he looks like, my baby. Oh, I'm so exhausted, guys. I'm so exhausted. I'm so exhausted. Um, I get close to the crib, and as soon as I get close to it, I see like his body is completely covered in a blanket. And I go, come on, you can't do this to a baby. I'm like, poor baby, they got him covered like this in a blanket. And so like I wrap the blanket and I swaddle him and pick him up. Immediately he starts crying. Guys, Frodo cries like someone's killing him. I mean, he cried like the world, like he was being cut up or something, okay? He's like, ah! And I'm like, it's okay, baby, it's okay. And guys, he's so, so cute. He is so much cuter than how he was. I don't know what they did to him. They made him even more adorable. Do you know? Let's see, what does he look like? Those he looks like those what are they called? Those things that are in the water. Not octopus, no. It's like a seal, but it's not. It's like a not a sea lion. What the heck are they called? Anyway, that's how his eyes look, okay, like that. Super cute. And he has like blonde hair. And so like his skin didn't have that his skin wasn't like gradient or like rough like crumbs or anything anymore. It was actually really smooth. So I think when Hawks, I don't know how they did it, when he put his DNA in him, it actually made his skin more human like. And I figured you could probably touch him now because he can be touched. So he's screaming his head off, and I'm like, okay, baby, it's okay. And and I'm walking down the stairs with him, holding him, and I'm kind of rocking him. And the whole time he's screaming and crying, his eyes are like closed. And then I go, okay, I got your baba right here. Like I got your baba. And I put it in the microwave and I'm heating it up. And then finally he stops crying and he looks at me. Guys, he looks at me and the most heartwarming moment, he looks at me, he goes, Ma, ma, ma. And I'm like, oh, you remember me, my baby. And like, so like, I'm like rocking him, I'm trying to comfort him. And I go, hi, and I hug him and he starts laughing. So now he's laughing, but he's also crying too. He's like, ah. And I'm just like, okay, well, it's okay, baby. And I'm still like, rocking him and stuff. And this is like the longest 1 minute of my life. The baby's just screaming his head off. My ears are like, oh, his crying and screaming is so freaking loud. It sounds like someone's killing him. And so finally his bottle gets ready. I like shake it up and I give it to him. He starts drinking. So while he's drinking his bottle, he's looking at me and we just have this bond. And I'm like, wow, you actually have hair now. That's so weird. I'm like, but I guess he's like part human, part regenerator now, and not full regenerator. I don't know how they did it, but that doctor guy was obviously a genius anyway, because he figured out how to bring him here. So I'm holding Frodo, and I'm just like, this is precious. And he's falling back to sleep, guys. I'm like, oh no, like he's falling back to sleep, and I'm like, hey baby, hey. And I'm like, hi. And then, and I take the bottle out and he starts crying again. And I'm like, okay, baby, okay, I'm sorry. And I give him the bottle back. I'm just like, if he falls asleep, I guess it's okay. I just want to be with the baby right now. I just want him to be awake. Like, so I walk upstairs and he's like falling asleep in my arms. And I'm like, I'm going to just hold him while he's sleeping. I'm going to hold him while he's asleep. And he'll sleep better because he gets to be next to mommy. So I laid him like kind of like this on me, and I'm sitting down on the couch, and he's sleeping, and I'm like touching his hair. Oh my gosh, it's the most precious moment in the world, guys. It's so precious. So then I'm looking at his diaper, okay, because he had on just like a shirt, a white shirt, like a white t-shirt, and he had on a diaper. And the baby's so freaking cute, guys, and the diaper is so cute on him, but I'm like, he doesn't need a diaper, right? He doesn't even have genitals, like. But I'm curious because he said that he changed them and that he's good already. He's fine. So I lay the baby down on the couch and I leave him there. Then I come back. He's still sleeping, and I'm like, yeah. I go, he might be a little cold. I'm just gonna turn down. I'm gonna turn the heat up a little bit, and I'm just gonna leave him there where I can watch him sleeping. You know. And so like I get closer to the baby, and I'm still staring at his diaper because like he said he already changed them, but it's like, I mean, did Hawks just think it was cute to put a diaper on him? He might be uncomfortable in that diaper. If he doesn't have to wear one, why should he wear one? And so like I undo like the top, I undo like the right side of the diaper. He like wakes up and then starts crying again. I'm like, okay, it's okay, baby, it's okay. And I go, yeah, I'm just gonna give you a diaper change. And I'm taking the diaper off, and I take it off, and because I look, and then there's, of course, just like I said, there's no genitals there. Okay, so why does he need a diaper? So I take the diaper and I throw it out, and I'm like, you don't need this diaper. No, you don't. And so like I'm walking around, I'm holding the baby, and he's still a little fussy. And I'm like, boy, I can't figure out, what it is. Why is he like this? And maybe it's because I woke him up. I mean, I woke him up again and trying. So like, I'm like, fine, I guess I'll just rock him to sleep. So I'm rocking him, and eventually he falls asleep. And I'm like, okay, good. So I'm gonna lay him down I'll lay him back down in his crib when he falls asleep. So I walk up the stairs, and the stairs are kind of loud, okay? So the stairs have like a gold on the end of the stairs, the part you step off, it's like gold metal. So weird. And I'm like, what is his theme? Because I'm looking around and it doesn't really match. Like, whatever. Walking up the stairs with the baby, holding the precious thing in my hand. And I go in the room and I lay him down back in his bassinet. I take the blanket out. I take out, he has a little teddy bear over there. I take that stuff out. Because, SIDS is a real deal, even for a regenerator baby. So I leave out of there and I'm like, I close the door and I walk away and I'm like, good, he's asleep. And as soon as I start walking away, he starts screaming. So I run back. I'm like, it's okay. Mommy's here. I pick him up and he's like, Mama. And when he says Mama again, I'm just like, I like have to hold my baby. I'm like, oh, I just have to. Like, I should have brought my teddy bear over so I could show you guys like what I was doing. Um, so like finally we get downstairs and like I sit him down and I'm like, okay, I sit him on the couch and I go over and I'm like, he can't really move because he's little. He's basically an infant, so he should be fine if I sit him here for a moment. And so I turn around and I look, but then I glance back at the baby. He's like rolling near the edge of the couch, and I'm like, oh! So I run over and I catch him. I'm like, oh my gosh, my baby, you scared me. And he starts crying again. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess you'll just have to come with me. So I take out the little baby prison. It's what is it called? It's a baby prison. It has like it's like a playpen thingy, but the babies can't get out, and I put him in there. So he's in there, he's completely free now, no diaper, nothing, no useless diaper. I mean, come on. He seems like irritated still. I don't know what else to do. So I go and I look through the notes and I'm like, I gave him the bottle already. And then next to it, it says 2. So I guess I missed that part. He was supposed to have 2 bottles, not 1 bottle. And the bottle was pretty big. I mean, guys, the bottle was like this big. Okay. Imagine a baby drinking a bottle this big. But again, he's not a normal baby. So I feed him the second bottle. I'm sitting there, I'm holding him, I'm feeding him, he's enjoying it. And then, afterwards I burp him. I burp the baby. And I'm like, good baby, and I sit him down next to me on the couch. He's sitting with me and he can't really sit up by himself. So like I had like some pillows here to like kind of prop him up. And I'm like, hi baby. And I go back and I'm like, I'm actually getting kind of hungry myself, so I don't really know how much time went by. Between now and then, it had to have been at least 2 hours. So I'm like, Daddy will be back soon. And I go in the kitchen, I'm looking at stuff, and I hear the baby screaming. So I run back in there, and there's a huge mess of there's a huge mess of something like under him. And so I get closer to the baby, and I freeze. Okay. I freeze. So then the baby's crying. I'm trying to move closer to him. But as I'm getting closer to him, I'm getting slower and slower. It's like someone turned on slow motion. So I'm like this, trying to get to the baby. He's crying. And his cry is like echoing. It's so weird. So then, guys, I mean, I don't know what really happened. I mean, the floor kind of came up pretty quickly to my face. And I guess it hit my face. So, like, yeah. So, like, I woke up. Um, I woke up on Toshinori's bed. And Toshinori, he's like, cotton candy now. Are you okay? I said, yes, I'm fine. And I go, Frodo, what happened to, I go, what happened to Frodo? I'm like, how did I get back here? I go, what happened? And he goes, Hawks is here with the baby. So then I get up and he's like, don't get up too fast. Get up kind of slowly. He forgot to say something to you, I guess. He didn't think this. We thought you were like just smarter than this though, for some reason. You know? Uh Hold on guys, one moment. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, so yeah, they go, Oceaneer goes, I thought you were smarter than that. And I'm like, I go, what are you talking about? And I'm like, help me up, please. So like he helps me get up slowly and I'm feeling kind of dizzy. And I'm just like, what the heck happened? And he's like, come on, walk with me. So he's kind of holding me up. Like I have his arm. It reminds me of that time at the award ceremony when he was helping me walk in those heels because I had trouble. Um, so we were walking into the living room and Hawks, he had the baby inside of the car seat and the baby's like asleep. He turns and he looks at me and he's like, I don't know if I want you to, I don't know if I can leave him alone with you again. And I'm like, why? I followed all the instructions just like it said. And then he goes, why did you remove his diaper? And I said, because he has no genitals, you know, figured he wouldn't need a diaper. I mean, you just thought it looked cute, so you put it on him, that's great. But how comfortable is that for the baby? And Hawks goes, the reason why the diaper is there is because it's there to catch his waste. His waste is biohazard waste. It's toxins, it's chemicals. So the diaper that that doctor invented for this kid, for this baby, for our baby, it's going to keep all of the harmful stuff in there and make it so that these toxins don't go out into the air when they first arrive. And I'm like, I don't understand anything you're talking about. Can you please speak English for me? And I'm really doing this for you guys. He goes, okay, so the toxic chemicals are being smothered with a diaper. Until you change him, it will remain there. It's not powerful enough to knock you out. Okay, this is all compressed in that within that diaper. I guess it's a special diaper. Whatever type of diaper he has is special. I didn't know that. Like I didn't know that it was his waste was actually biohazard. And number two, I didn't know that he had organs because I don't see any. So I go, he doesn't have any organs. And Hawk says he does have actually have organs. They're on the inside. And what happens is right before he gets ready to release that, there's a hole there and it gets bigger and bigger. And once it's big enough, then his organs will come out. He'll do his business. And then after you clean him up, then they'll go back in. Wow. What an evolution, you guys. That sounds strange. That sounds really strange. It's almost like he's hiding his it's almost like he's hiding him from you then, basically, until he has to go. I think that's weird. I'm sorry, like this is a baby, okay? It's a baby. It's a little baby. I mean, but still at the same time, how was I supposed to know that, right? Like, anyway, so he's like, you did everything else right, it looks like. I saw two empty bottles, but I'll show you what to do if when we start to run out. He's like, I brought everything with me. He goes, let's go to the kitchen. So we go in there and I'm looking back at Toshinori and he's sitting down next to the baby and he's like touching the baby's head and stuff. And he's like, are you paying attention? I'm like, yeah. He goes, so what you do is you take this. This is liver, okay? Put it in the side of the blender. And it's like a little blender. It's tiny, okay? But you put food in it and it blends it. He said you put liver in here, you put rabbit in here, and I don't know what the other one is. It's not elk. is something else. Even though elk meat was supposed to be really good for him. Now, all of this is raw, okay? And you're grinding it up really fine. But he needs 2 bottles every 2 hours. I'm like, well, how do we even feed him within that time frame, you know? And he goes, I saw that you had the second bottle you gave him. So I think that's excellent. And I'm like, he was fussing a lot. And then Hawks goes, well, that's funny. He shouldn't have been fussing that much. I mean, once he's had enough to sleep, once he's had enough sleep, once he's had enough to eat, there shouldn't be a problem. So, like, I knew right away, right off the bat, like, I messed up. That's what it was. I woke him up out of his sleep because I went to see him and talk to him and play with him, which is my mistake. I won't do that again. But, like, so he left because he said he had to go back to work. And Toshinori and me stayed with the baby. Toshinori bonded with him and held him. And I didn't have to deal with any dirty diapers. I just dealt with the toxic waste that came out of his body because I didn't put a diaper on him. It caused me to pass out. Um, so I guess they fixed everything else. I guess you can actually touch him and all that now, but a part of him is still dangerous, and it's that part. And I don't know. Would I have been able to survive if he did it again? Who knows? I mean, it probably would have killed me. It's pretty dangerous stuff. I felt like that should have been at the top of the list. Don't remove the diaper. But then they said, like, who removes a baby's diaper? But it's like, it's not a normal baby. So anyway, me and Toshinori watched them the rest of the day. We stayed up pretty late. Hawks didn't get back home until like midnight for some reason, 12 o'clock. And the baby was awake the whole time. He kept crying. He was just really cranky. And it's probably my fault because I'm the one that woke him up. I should have just let him sleep through, you know. And Toshinori said he's babysat him before. And I'm like, what? I'm like, you actually babysit Frodo before? And he's like, yeah. He goes, what I do is when he's sleeping, I just leave him sleep the entire time. He said, I know the list says wake him up after the third hour if he's still asleep, but he says he leaves him sleep the whole time, and the baby's a lot happier. And he goes, Cotton candy, doll. I'm like, what? He goes, did you wake up the baby? I'm like, no. He's like, are you lying to me? And I'm like, gosh, no. Right, Frodo? I didn't wake you up, did I, Frodo? No, I didn't. He can't talk, so he's not going to be able to tell me. He goes, well, he's acting different today. I'm going to have the doctor come by and see him because maybe he's getting sick. And, you know, at that time I bowed out. I was like, okay, see you later. I had my guy come get me, but like, that was an experience. Having Frodo there, like, Frodo is adorable, guys. He's even more cuter. And I think I'll probably create him some kind of way and put him on there so you guys can see him like I did with my students. That way you guys can see what he looked like. So I'm gonna do the same thing with Frodo. I'll put him up there. That way you guys can see him. So you get an idea of like how adorable and how cute he is and what he looks like. As opposed to actual regenerator, because I know you guys probably seen what those look like. But he looks like that, but he's just way cuter. Like he looks like that, but he doesn't. Like not anymore. Like I don't know what they did to change him to make him different, but he's different. The fact that his genitals are inside and they only come out when he needs to use them. What? What? Like what kind of intelligence is that? Like we can hide their imagine that being able to like make your vagina go away until you needed it, or make your penis go away until you needed it. That's crazy. Anyway, I plan on going back there to meet him again. I'm not gonna go back tonight because I'm exhausted. He literally stayed. He don't get me wrong, like the baby's so cute and everything, but he kept crying and whining and crying. That's probably my fault though. Even though she already knew something was different with him. He's a good at he's a good father. And Hawks, I get the feeling Hawks was like really mad. Uh, he was really mad at me. I think because he knew like I think he knew I woke him up too. You can just tell these things even with your kids. Even now, the kid did come from him, so of course he knew that. You know, of course he knew I woke him up. Of course, you know why wouldn't he think that? So yeah. Um, so what is that? Is that like a grinder? Anyway, I did say you might hear noises, so don't be alarmed. Anyway, yeah, so we and Hawks were making this stuff, and he said, "Pay attention." He sounded kind of mad, like he's just like, I know he was low key mad at me, but he didn't want to like show it. So yeah. Anyway, I hope I didn't give away too much of my thumbnails. I didn't want to do spoilers, but I wanted you guys to get an idea of what this would be about, like what the video would kind of be about too. And I'll probably do another video soon, but I'm not, like I said, I'm not gonna shift there tonight because I'm pretty tired from spending the time with Bruno. I mean, I don't know if I can go there during the week and not be tired. Like I just don't know. Like I feel like he's gonna be he's a handful, and next time I just won't wake him up. I'll just let the baby sleep, and then I won't have like that many issues with him fussy and whining. I don't know. I'm so glad I got to see him. I can't believe he remembers. He said "mama" again. He said "ma ma ma." Oh, so cute. Anyway, if you guys like the video, don't forget to give me a like. Don't forget to hit the notification bell. That way you're notified when other videos become available. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Thank you all for watching. Bye.